Good evening and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson and I'm here with AJ Royce.
Hello.
Well, welcome everybody. Tonight's episode is number 77. I liken it to lucky numbers. So, in fact, I did get the message, what was it, pull the lever. And of course, I'm thinking of slot machines, 777. So that's the way I like to take it. But anyway, today's date is September the 20th, 2022. So welcome. We have a few things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to start off with a song that Royce heard on her way to my home. It's where we're recording from.
Yes, I was just flipping around on the radio trying to find something worth listening to. And I came across this song being sung at the very end of it. Pardon me. The fellows sang the words, "I want to know like I know what is." And I thought, wow, that is just so profound. That's what we all want. We want the absolute truth. That which is free from any conjecture, free from speculation like we hear so much these days. Everybody speculates about this and that and kind of, get you pulled off center. We want to be free of all of that. We want to know the absolute truth. And my phone is ringing in the background. You can probably hear it, and I apologize for that. So I just thought that was just so profound. We want to know, like what is, and the way to do that is just to keep your center, keep your wits about you, and unplug when you need to, because there's so much incoming information. Just unplug and be quiet, be still, and you'll get it.
You'll get it. Well, one thing we didn't even talk about today that we did a couple of days ago, and I'm going to bring it up because it's the words trust and accept. And we've talked about that before, but literally it was in our face that trusting and accepting within ourselves. And we're, even though we think we're doing it, we're not totally doing it. And so, things will come up that that we start questioning, and we're going like, oh, we are not trusting everything that we get or what we hear. And now I question everything, and I'm still going to question everything. But when you really feel it, I guess I won't question everything. I can't really say it that way. But when you can really feel it, and it's truth, then you go with it. It's like, why do you keep questioning, the knowledge of who and what you are? And that's what, the song is, what is. And we're getting closer to who and what we truly are. And man, are we starting to see it. And we're going to pick up on that in just a bit, because a little bit more of the world events. So, we thought that was a good way to start out the podcast, and here we go. All right, Danny, comments on that?
No.
All right. Another thing that's come up in the last few days is the mastery of kids. And if you really listen to them, and especially little ones, and I'm talking, I have a granddaughter that's 6 years old, and some of the things that she's come up with. And she has no filter, by the way. So she told me, wondered why I had purple eyebrows, and didn't realize I had purple eyebrows. But I changed the makeup I was using after that one. I thought, wow, okay. And other things that she may mention is like, whatever. But I love it that she's so honest.
The honesty, yes.
Yeah, and. It's just fun to watch her and her little 2-year-old sister together, and how they work with one another. Yeah, they fight, but they dearly love each other, and one wants to help out the other.
Yeah, they lead each other. Not just one-sided, but each other.
Each other. The 2-year-old wants to help her sister.
Yeah.
Definitely saw that a couple days ago. But anyway, why don't you tell us your story?
Yes. They were getting ready to leave from Bev's, and I was here. And out at the car, the 6-year-old, I'm just going to say her name, dear Riley, a dear little friend of mine. She was getting in her car seat, and she was teaching me all about how it worked. And
the car seat.
Yes, and she knew exactly how it worked and where everything went, So she proceeded to get herself fastened in, and I said, wow, that is so neat. I wish I had one of those. And she pointed to the front seat, and she said, you sit up there. So she was being very precise. She knew where everybody was to be. My seat would be the big person's seat up front. And I was thinking, wow, I wish I had one of those seats. And she said, I wish you were a kid. And it just came out of nowhere. And I said, what was that? Because I wanted to make sure that I heard her right. And then she said, do you want to be a kid? And I thought for a minute, and I thought, well, I really enjoyed being a kid, but I'm enjoying being what I am now. And she thought for just a second, and she said, I want to be a grown-up. And then her mom, suggested that she just be a kid right now and enjoy that. But I thought about that for the whole next day, and about what it was that she was saying to me. And what I got out of it was that, when she said to me, I wish you were a kid, she was looking for that common ground between us, for us to be the same age. And then, when I said that I didn't want to be a kid, I'd already been a kid, and I was happy with being what I was now. But she was willing to give up being a kid and stated that she wanted to be a grown-up. So she was willing to give up do whatever it took, to be on that common ground. And I thought, wow, that is really profound for the world right now. If we could just give a little, help one another. Yeah, help them, and find that common ground between us instead of those things that are different,
divisive.
Yes, mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I just thought that was just so profound, the message that she was giving me mm-hmm. from that.
Yeah, she knows she used to be a kid too, be mm-hmm. a kid right now. But her thought was, how can we make this more equal or whatever? Common ground, as you said, yeah.
More common for us to be the same age. Mm-hmm. But, she's already well beyond her years in how she expresses herself. So.
Yeah. So watch the children and listen to them. And that's the right word. We're very quick to dispel things that they may see or hear or whatever. And kids, I know they do expand on things that are not quite so true.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. Stretch it a little.
They managed to stretch. No, I didn't do it. She did it. Yeah, I do get that. But anyway, but to when they're serious like that, they have a lot to say. Yeah. And I've learned so much from my kids. And my kids are a lot older. I always say that with my grandchildren. And but some of the profound things. And I know I have said this. This is Riley's mother, who was, I think, 9 at the time, and she had fallen asleep on the sofa, and my husband and I were looking at a map because we wanted to move and didn't know where to move, so we just, had a map out of the United States, and just looking at various places that we thought might be a cool place to live. And we had 3 kids that were, I think, 9, and 11 or 12 and 15 at the time. So anyway, taking that into consideration, but when I picked her up to take her to bed, because she had fallen asleep on the sofa, unbeknownst to me, and so when I went to try to carry her, or at least help her walk to bed, she starts talking in her sleep, and then she eventually said very clearly and distinctly, "Look at the map in your heart." So obviously I have not forgotten that, and I've written about it. In fact, I think it's going to be the name of my next book. So look at the map in your heart, and that can mean so many different things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've told that story before, but it just says a lot in what comes out of young mouths, like very profound things.
Yes, very profound.
Yeah. So, and one other thing, I'm going to bring this up now because the same daughter, I think she was like 2 or 3 maybe, and I have no idea what I was saying to her, but she takes her arms up, and puts them down on the table like, and she says, "Mom, just let me be me." And oh boy, did that get me.
Oh, yeah.
So another adult was in the room, and I looked at him and I said, what did I say? And he knew exactly what I said, and I don't, which is odd. But I was like, wow, did that get me? Let me be me. And, we're trying to, many people try to, what's the right word?
Manipulate?
Manipulate or model, or, into what they think is best, the parent, but without letting the child express themselves openly and freely, and making them, when they do express themselves, to listen. And that's our whole thing, because children have a lot to teach us.
Yes, they do.
So, all right, that came up, and so as you know, we express, Royce and I express things that have happened to us and what we realize, in the last few days. And when you start looking at all this stuff that we are learning about ourselves, it is quite profound.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Another thing came up today, and that was regarding people's illnesses or diseases or whatever it may be. And it had come up. I had mentioned that somebody, and I heard this through somebody else, but he was trying to help somebody that had cancer. And in doing so, I think he was doing hypnosis. And doing so, he's talking to a gentleman that had cancer. And he asked the gentleman, "Do you want to get rid of your cancer?" And the man with cancer said no. And so I'm like, wow, and so there's a lot to that. I'm going to let you take over from here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. A lot of people jump in and judge that as being a total negative, not wanting to get rid of the cancer. But here's another way of looking at it. We're all on our own paths. And sometimes there are things that we need to learn. And so different things have been either placed in our path, or we have brought them in so that we learn something very specific. And speaking for myself, I have been through that cancer thing. And it got very rocky there for a while. But I'm here to tell you that the things that I learned are things that I would never want to give up. The depth of understanding that I got, the compassion, the truth about life, some of the things that I experienced and saw of my own self, of the world, of the purity, the beauty of life. I wasn't getting it before, but I got it facilitated through that illness and everything that happened around it. I would not trade that for the world. And so, perhaps if you start to think about judging someone for an illness that they have, maybe give that a second thought, because there are things to be learned and understood from these things that come up. The depth of the preciousness of life that we just sometimes don't get in other ways.
One thing that I do when somebody asks for my prayers, I always send love, which is the same thing as, if you want to call it God's love, which is our love. I always send love, and I always ask for whatever is for their highest good. And it may not be a healing, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people may say, oh, yeah, they want healing. They go into chemotherapy or whatever. And, to me, they want to be healed, because that's why they're in chemotherapy. But they, unbeknownst to them, it may be a whole nother story.
Yes.
Because of what they're learning through that process.
Yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up is that a lot of family members or friends or whatever it may be that really want to help. And then if that person gets sicker or passes away, people will, I've seen family members saying, well, I wish I could have done more. If I did this, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And then they go on their own guilt trip.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Because it's not their path, and sometimes people just need a hand holding to go through this process.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes, if you're beating yourself up because you didn't do enough, or you wish that you could have done something else, or whatever the case may be, maybe that situation was just a wake-up call for you. So if you see this happen again, don't just sit around and go into action. Just go in there and do what you can do.
Do what you can do.
Yeah.
Always ask for permission.
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Because many times people don't want your help.
Yeah, and that's okay for them to refuse.
Yeah. And then you let it go instead of jumping into the fray.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it becomes fray.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you really want to go there? Because you're putting yourself through it unnecessarily. Unless it's a lesson you want to learn, but you're going to learn it the hard way. Like, oh, well, you tried to help and they didn't want to listen and blah, 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 blah. And to me, that's a lot of arrogance that's coming from you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
Truly. If we can just accept whatever it is, whether it's our part to help or not to help, just accept it.
Yeah. Always ask yourself. That knowledge is all within. Ask yourself, do I extend my hand or not? But you'll know.
Yeah, and in your prayers, you may pray for them to have the strength to go through whatever it is that they need to go through.
And that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. So anyway, that came up, and we thought we would share that because we're sitting at lunch, and it was like, oh, there's a lot of ways to look at this. So anyway, it's I'm just thinking as I'm talking now is how many things have come up in the last few days, and then things that, oh yeah, I can see that now, and these little experiences keep coming up over and over and over again. Like I say, not the same experience, but knowledge of ourselves are getting more, what's the right word, conscious.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
We're becoming aware of ourselves, self-aware.
There you go. All right. In the last couple episodes, we had talked about, the breakdown has begun, and I'm talking about World. And anyway, a couple of the breakdown has begun. That was two episodes ago, and then last week we talked about the truth, walk it, talk it, be it. And we did talk about secrets being exposed, and the world will be rocked. So I do feel this is definitely going on right now, and we're bringing it up because I want you all to be aware that things are happening. They've been happening behind the scenes, much of it, but now it's being revealed. And even though we've been saying this for quite a while, I think it's going to be in our faces.
Yeah, before it was a warning, a heads up, but now it's like the red light's flashing.
Yeah, it's a go. I got the word adjustments today, and basically said adjustments are being made. And then I thought of the movie Adjustment Bureau,
Yeah,
which I'm gonna have to rewatch that movie.
fantastic movie.
They said, okay. Then I heard the grand plan is being implemented now to bring your world to a new place and vibratory frequency. The human will adjust, even those who have taken the vaccine or certain medications that may affect them in different ways. Not all people will make it through this, and that is their choice. Just talking about, having an illness, it's always their choice, their path. And don't judge them for it. I found myself judging a lot of people, it's like, what are you guys doing that to yourself for? And I got to realize I got to back off because it's none of my business. So anyway, basically it's going to, where am I here? All right. It says, yes, it will appear that your world is being turned upside down. In a way, it is. All is being shaken to its core. This will ease rather quickly for some. Be patient and assist those who still feel mistrust. It's a process. So a lot coming out. And I've been hearing that, we're going to be shocked, even though we think we know everything that's going on. I think more and more will be revealed. And it's not going to come out all at once because it would be too much for everybody. Just as this process is happening, turn up the truth meter. So look into the mirror and love what you see. These may feel like chaotic times. However, can you truly see yourselves without all being revealed, including your greatness? So, it's all about that. Talking about being an illness, we find out about our greatness.
Yes.
And this is, I want to call this an illness. I mean, it is. Okay, you want to add to that? No? All right. All right. Do, in the next, all right, let's say start it now. And we have talked about this, but I'm going to say it again. Number one, make sure you have plenty of food.
And this is not just now, this is under normal circumstances because stuff happens.
Yeah. Be it
being prepared.
Yep, geographic, or if it's being what's going to look like a war.
Yeah, anything.
Okay. Yeah. So plenty of food, cash, because I do feel I have heard that the banks will be shut down. Not to scare everybody, but things are changing. Some are going to be shut down before they reopen. It may only be for a couple of days, so your credit card may not work. So, don't freak out because the whole economic system is changing. And it's for the good. So it is all good, but it can be scary at the same time. And we just want to assure you all is well. So prepare with food, have a little bit of extra water. In some of the big cities, electricity may be affected, so be aware of that. And have plenty of gas in your car. Top off your gas tank as much as you can, or keep that going. And so if you are in a big city and you're not very comfortable, take a trip. Go out in the wilderness or go see friends or relatives or whatever. And those of you that can assist others that are not prepared, freely share. I mean, obviously use discernment there, but share some of what you have. to help them through the processes, not only on material goods such as food and water, but emotional assistance.
Yeah, people used to do that back in the olden days, that you could count on your neighbors. And these days, not everybody knows their neighbors. And sometimes when they know their neighbors, they're a little bit afraid of them. So, these are very unusual times we're living in. So I think we're being urged to go back to the way it was when we could relate to each other as being human beings.
Community.
Yeah.
Community. I think that's on our last episode, or the week or the time before that, that our government looks like our government's going to temporarily shut down, or our current government, the way it is laid out. That's not the right words, but the way our government is structured. There we go. Our structure is changing, and from what I'm hearing, and I've been getting this for quite a while, that that structure is collapsing, and we're going to go on a whole different way of governing, but it will be, I think, much more sovereign for everybody to be more sovereign, but assist, in like roads, that sort of thing, and education possibly. But there's a lot of different ways that the government will assist, and then a lot will be up to the community. And I think it's going to be a lot more sharing within the community, and people will then learn how to trust one another again.
Yeah.
But it's getting through this right now that there's not that much trust out there. So, use that discernment, use that gut meter as you go through these times.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and add any.
Well, I was just, you want me to read
Sure.
this that I got today?
Please do.
Okay, this is what I got after meditation. Know that what you are doing is of great worth. We watch and wait and see the strides forward made by all of you at this time. Yes, it truly is a momentous and interesting time where everything is in transition, like Bev was talking about. The gate is open. The gate is secure, and none will enter uninvited. And I questioned, gates for what and to what? And the response was, one gate is the gate to your heart. That's the gate that is open. The other gate is to the realm of mankind, where all the movement and changes are taking place. So both those gates are open, and let us be vigilant and strive to do our best. We're being watched. We are not alone. Watched by those of higher vibrational beings who have our best at heart. And they're pleased because they see that even through these tough times, we're making strides forward. Mm-hmm. It's like I like to say, forward and upward, because we are evolving.
Yeah. It's like, again, can you look in the mirror and love what you see?
Yeah.
Because that's where we're evolving to. If you can't see that yet, then keep looking inwards and start liking what you see. And eventually, you will love that person. When you love yourself, you're going to love everything.
Yeah.
And that is nothing anti-religious, or it might be for some, because that's what they're taught. And it's like, nah, to me, it's a bunch of BS. So what do you think about it, BS? But anyway, it's like, love it. Come on, guys. Let's get with the so-called programs, and leaving the old programs, old paradigm, like we're done with it. So it's in transition. We're going through it. So, yeah. So
exciting
really
times.
Exciting times, glorious times ahead. understanding our greatness that we truly are. So thank you. The gateways are open to the heart and to humankind. So yes, we have a lot of help. Our brothers and sisters, I call them cosmic brothers and sisters, are here with us, and a lot more ships are they're still showing themselves.
Yes.
And constantly. So all you do is remember to look up. It does help to see that if you want to see them. You have to look, and instead of go back in a cave. And when you're driving, I mean, watch the road obviously, but look at the skies in the daytime while you're walking. Look at the skies, and there's so much to see. And you're seeing more rainbows. We saw a double rainbow the other day. It was quite beautiful. I mean, there's all kinds of things going on.
Yes, if you'll do some investigation online, there are people catching some miraculous-looking things in the cloud formations and things like that showing up in the sky. So keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Look if you want to see it. Look.
If you have your phone or whatever, take a picture and share.
Yeah.
Especially it's some beautiful things. Anyway, that's that. Well, our next episode is going to be on October the 4th. Like, whoa, we're moving into October fairly soon. And we are 2 days or probably less than 48 hours from the equinox. And so some people may be feeling the effects of that. So I can't say I have, but anyway, but some people do feel that, and some people are much more knowledgeable about the stars and astrology, that sort of thing, especially for this time of this year and the equinox period. So anyway, you can look that up if you'd like. But indeed, we're very close to that equinox time, and it's going to be one hell of a end of 2022. So into 2023. And I mean that, and it might be scary, but overall it's going to be absolutely wonderful when we get through this whole thing.
Yeah, it's only scary because when things are transitioning, where we put our feet is shifting too, and it's like we lose our footing, and we don't know where to put our feet because where's the ground? Everything is shifting. So
yeah.
That's when it gets scary. It's just unfamiliar. But hang on.
Hang on. I want to fly. I heard we can still fly. So remember, I think most of us can relate to that because we've had dreams about flying.
Oh yeah.
So, does that mean we can we do it? I bet you we can.
Yeah.
We just forget how to do it. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in because that's another conversation we've had of like, let's just fly. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And any questions or comments that you have, please put them. Please jot those down or write them down on our YouTube channel page, and because it's where you're hearing this from. And if you want to contact either Royce or myself, leave a message, and that number is 864-999-3008. And leave your message, and again, who you want that message to go to. So that's really about it.
I was thinking about the equinox and about how that relates to this little story of Riley, finding that common ground. And actually, the time of the equinox is that moment when day and night have found that common ground. They're equal.
How about that?
Yeah. So isn't that interesting, that the timing of this story? Thank you, Riley.
Thank you, Riley. I actually had a party over the weekend. So, and we had more. I did. I had a great time.
Yeah, I did too.
I think most everybody here did. So, fairly good sized party. But it's like, go out and party, have fun. Yeah. As we're going through this, and everybody was very upbeat. It was really nice.
Yeah, a long time ago when things were really tough in the country and the world, wartime, some of the ladies would gather together, and they didn't have anything else besides maybe some water and a slice of bread with some butter. And so they put it out on their refinery, on their silver trays or whatever. And, it was just like it was before. They were keeping their dignity and keeping that up feeling. And, that sort of thing is felt around the world. So let's spread that type of thing around.
There you go. Bring out the silver platter.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yep. And I want you to know how much I love each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful that you decided to stay for this interesting time that we're going through right now. Keep your head up and know how much you're loved, and you're also very, very beautiful. And spread that word around, too.
You are. You are. Remember that. Take it in. All right. Thank you, everybody, and good night.
Good night.